2004? There's no way. Also, hey, happy 22nd birthday to this OC maker. We're the same age. I saw it was coming up when I started making this video, and I realized it was the perfect opportunity to release on its anniversary. Am I unk for being a few months older than this thing? Well, that's up to you. Anyway, I was recently thinking about Sonic OCs, as we all do, but more specifically, I was thinking about how the Sonic fandom's approach to designing OCs has evolved over the years. It's a bit hard to explain, but you can definitely tell when a Sonic OC was made in the 90s or early 2000s, as opposed to modern Sonic OCs that were made usually sometime after Sonic Forces came out. But while I was reminiscing on the classic era of Sonic OCs, I suddenly remembered a funny little character creator that so many of the old era's OCs spawned from. I myself, as a kid, used to get on the family computer after school to mess with this thing. This humble game is Sonic Character Designer. Yep, published on July 16th, 2004 to Newgrounds by the user Kevicus. This is actually the newer version of Hedgehog Designer, published on December 14th in 2003, which makes that version 2 months older than me. Yay. But as my irony-poisoned, stoned, and jaded gaze fell upon the weirdly detailed toes of the blank gradient-shaded base, I got an idea. As a modern Sonic OC designer in 2026, could I still create an interesting Sonic OC using this ancient character creator? Of course, I'll be setting down 3 ground rules for myself before I begin this art challenge. I'll be making the OC in Sonic Character Designer, then drawing it myself for the final design. Here we go. Number 1. Overall design-wise, I must stick to the spirit of classic Sonic OCs. For example, a lot of classic OCs in the fandom were hedgehogs, foxes, rabbits, stuff like that. As much as I love unique species, like sugar gliders, spiders, axolotls, stuff like that, a lot of those people back then weren't doing all that. We will be sticking to species I can reasonably create with the options provided. 2. I'm allowed to design clothes if I choose. This character creator has 0 clothing options, so RIP if you wanted to make a current canon-compliant female OC. I'm also down to lightly redesign the gloves and shoes as needed, also due to a lack of options. However, any changes must be minimal and can't be more detailed than your average official Mobian Sonic character. And finally, rule number 3. I am allowed to adjust the color palette and some small details to make a design more harmonious. I'm gonna be so real, I'm adding this rule for my own sanity. I don't want hex code FF0000 on my Sonic OC, even if that would be historically accurate. The idea behind these rules is that if I were really making an OC with this character creator, just like how I used to as a kid, I would use it to figure out what I want maybe 60 to 70% of my OC to look like. Then I would draw the OC myself so I could add all the details I couldn't add before. Hopefully, by replicating my technique now as an adult, I can come up with a half-decent Sonic OC. With that said, I won't stall you any further. Let's get started with the Sonic Character Designer. Oh my gosh. Dude. This is so nostalgic. Like the bright flashing font. Oh my god, my eyes, they hurt. This is great. Alright, let's do it. Look! The feet! Look at the freaking feet on this thing, bruh. Welcome to Sonic Character Designer. I hope you recognize this. If you don't recognize this, you're too young to talk to me. Curved out. Okay, shadow. So we got shadow. We've got more shadow. We've got not silver. We've got silver. We've got silver but better. We've got, I don't know, manic. A mohawk. We've got dreadlocks without an A. We've got Jet the Hawk. We've got what Sonic fans think Sonic's quills look like in half of the Sonic games they complain about. Jester. Wait, chat, we might be cooking. Now we got mouths. Smooth, furry, mecha. That's it. Those are your only choices. And then you can give an expression. Oh, ew. Jump scare, bro. I didn't expect to see that. Okay, I said, I don't, you know, I'm not really trying to make a British Sonic OC today. Oh, you're a freak if you picked this one. Amazing, awesome, great. Moving on. Eyes, let's check it out. Regular, angry, large. Aren't they just the same size? Cartoon, oh. I don't know about that one. That one makes me feel weird. I kind of don't like that one. Also, like, no hate, by the way. I'm being silly. I have so much nostalgia for this character creator and so much respect for it. I'm messing around, I'm joking around. This is not like a hate, like, ew, this is cringe. No, I wouldn't be doing this if I thought it were cringe. Just to be clear, because I've had people get on me before, like, oh my god, why are you saying so many, like, nasty things? And it's like, I'm joking, that's how I joke. It's so big. Heart, club, spade, diamond. Oh wait, what? These are cool too. Okay. Striped, beefy. Ew. I like how the boots look like regular shoes. They're like not different at all. You know what? I think of boots, I think of something that goes up a little bit higher, but not bad. I'm gonna be so for real. I think we can make a good OC with this. So I like the idea of making a cute little like jester themed OC. I think that would be adorable. I think a lot of the options could actually contribute pretty well to that. I do think we want to keep this fairly limited on the species though. Like, yes, this has a lot of options. How many people were like unironically using like the good options to make unique species? Because even today, there's like so many people who will just make hedgehog, cat, fox. There's a lot of people who make very generic species. So let's stick with, you know what? I think a rabbit. Let's do a rabbit. It's like, it's common enough that I think it fits our little theme here, but I also don't see enough rabbit OCs, and it's like, it scratches the itch where I need to be different. So, all right, let's do it. We're gonna do a jester rabbit OC. What color do we want it to be? Ooh, that's hard. Okay, maybe not bright red. Maybe not bright orange. Maybe not bright yellow. Oh. This is the rough part about Sonic character designer. You don't get to pick from the whole palette range. You only get certain colors, and all of them are extremely saturated. Good fucking luck. Colors, I'm thinking are probably gonna be like red and blue, but I really don't want to use any of these reds. Oh man, dude, this is rough. Ugh, that looks like skin. I don't like that. It's like I was hyping up all these options, and now I'm actually getting to like color them, and I'm realizing I made a mistake. This is gonna change a lot in the final design. Guaranteed. There's no way I'm keeping it like this. I don't like that that's pitch black, dude. I like can't see the line art when you make it pitch 0 black. Yeah, that works. You can barely see that on the background. That's really weird. Oh my god, ow, my eyes. Alright, so this is our current design. I'm gonna be real with y'all. This is definitely the base of a design. And I will get right back with you guys once I start drawing our Sonic character design. You know what? I think this is a good base to work off of. Let me cook, chat. All right. I'll see you in a moment. Hello. So you're getting the PNGtuber model today because I can't draw too well with the VTuber model, or else my tracking gets really messed up. I've begun working on converting our lovely design to a regular OC design. Trust me, the proportions, totally the same. Trust. The way I'm planning to do this, I'm kind of just gonna like speed paint through it, but whenever I have something interesting to say, I'll slow it back down so you guys can hear it. But let's get to work. I think this will turn out pretty good. Oh yeah, fun fact, I use Ibis Paint. I have not moved on from Ibis Paint. I do have Blip Studio. I use it, but Ibis Paint. I'm sorry, you just can't beat Ibis Paint. It's so user-friendly, and I think that's something a lot of these premium programs kind of forget about, is being user-friendly. You know, it's really often I hear people be like, oh my god, you use Ibis Paint? What the heck? And like, they'll kind of act like my art should be bad because I use Ibis Paint, and it's like, no. First of all, stop being elitist. Second of all, your art program really doesn't determine your skill level. You can be a good artist and use any program, and what you make will probably come out good, if I'm being for real. Now, if you're not as experienced, yeah, you're probably gonna have a little bit of a struggle regardless of what program you use, but yeah. There's my 2 cents on something low-key not even related to the video. I'm not even sure if I'll include this. It's something I get in my comments a lot, though, and it's like, I don't know. Part of me wants to keep mentioning that I use Ibis Paint because of those comments. Because I think it's kind of messed up that people have this standard that, like, oh, you can't be a good artist if you use Ibis. Yeah, you can. How about stop sitting there telling people what they can and can't make and go work on your art yourself? Maybe then you wouldn't believe that. Maybe then you wouldn't have a bad take. Okay, now I'm just being rude for no reason. Let me lock in. Let's draw. I'm thinking she's gonna have a bodysuit, kind of like Rouge. You wanna know a really good song? I'm listening to it right now. At least it's a song I really like. My music tastes aren't for everyone, but I'm listening to Burn Witch Burn by the 69 Eyes. I like it. I've been on my vibes again. You know, for a little bit there, I wasn't really sharing what music I was into because I had a lot of people get really weird with me about it. Like, it's like I don't even know if I want to say what kind of music I like because I don't want people to get weird with me again. It's not anything bad. It's just more like people be like, oh my god, you like that kind of music? You wanna like date me? Okay, that sounds so weird, but like, you'll understand if you if you know what I listen to. Most of this is gonna be edited silent. You're just gonna see the model talking. You're gonna have no idea what I'm talking about. You know, I could be talking mad shit and you wouldn't know. I could be like, oh my god, I hate everyone and everything. Wait, I say that anyway. Oh yeah, I try to keep like kind of the same pose as what's going on here, just for like a good comparison. This isn't really the ideal pose I would like to put this character in. I might actually try to draw her another way for the thumbnail, just so she doesn't have this really static pose. I'm not really a big fan of poses that are this static. You know, that's a pro tip when you share your art online. Even if you see mistakes in it, don't mention them because literally anytime I do that, people will come in my comments like, yeah, you're right, that is bad. Yeah, you're right, that is wrong. And it's like, bro, I know, you don't have to repeat it. It's like, you're a little annoying if you're the type of person who does that. But that's just a me take. I don't know. Like, you know that the creator knows that it's wrong and that they want to fix it next time, so why do you comment on it as well? Like, are you rubbing it in? What are you trying to accomplish, I guess, is my question. Now, I love the people who, like, criticize your work and you didn't ask them, but, like, they clearly don't know what they're talking about themselves. So they'll be like, this character should have been blue instead of red. Why? Because I like blue more than red. And it's like, people like that will say, hey, that's an art criticism. No, it's not. That's your opinion, bro. That's not art criticism. And if you don't like receiving that type of unnecessary comment, it's, why can't you take criticism? Maybe I just, like, don't take criticism from people who don't know what they're talking about and are just spewing their opinions. Oh yeah, by the way, shoutouts to my lovely friend Gremlin for working on this avatar. Another reason I really wanted to use it again in this video is because they made it when I was streaming my art, which I'll try to get back to that eventually. I got turned off from it for a little bit because chat etiquette isn't always the best, and also there was somebody I used to stream with that I don't associate with anymore, but they really they affected me a lot more than I wish they had, with how they treated me and how they treated being live with me and stuff like that. But also it's really annoying to like art stream because you always get chatters that are like, can you draw this for me? Can you draw my OC for free? And it's like, yeah, they're probably kids, but it's still annoying. It's still kind of rude when like you see someone clearly drawing something and you try to tell them to go draw something else, go draw your character instead. Like that's the best way to make me not draw someone's character, by the way. That's the best way to get blocked off the channel. Not the best way. Now there's other ways that'll make it happen even faster, but generally people who do that to me are not people I want to be around. But hey, maybe one of these days I can get back to art streaming. I just needed to kind of like recover mentally from all that because it was happening just back to back to back, and I was art streaming a good bit. So, you know, that kind of stuff gets really exhausting. You know how I could like take you out of this right now, out of the immersion? As if I were to just hit my home button right now. This is on an Android tablet, by the way. I record these off of an Android tablet. You might be wondering, how on earth do you do that? Well, I use a little software, a little setup. You get to run it at a command line. Pretty neat. But it lets you show like the screen of your Android tablet on your PC. And then what I do is I take that, I go into OBS, and I record that. And that's how you see me working on an Android tablet. But in reality, I'm streaming off of a PC. It's a setup that definitely took some time to figure out, and I had to really do some research, but I should do a tutorial on it sometime. Because I've had people get really confused before. They'll see me in like mobile Ibis Paint in my videos, and they're like, or on my streams, and they're like, how? Are you streaming off of a tablet? It's like, no. Especially when like you see my VTuber model on top of it. It's like you infamously can't really do VTubers on mobile. Phones don't really have the processing power, especially with some of these models going around, man. Like mine's fairly well optimized, but some of these models, I see people bragging, yeah, this model takes 1,000 layers, and it's like, oh, so you're telling me you have a really badly optimized model? Got it. Like that's not really something to be proud of. But point is, yeah, people see it and they're like, you're doing the impossible. And it's like, no, I'm actually tricking you into thinking I'm doing the impossible. What I'm doing is very possible. I usually do like thicken out the lines. I don't think I'm going to do that here just because I don't anticipate I'll really be using this character. Let me know down below, do you think I should sell this character as an adoptable? I sell a lot of my designs as adoptables because I'm just not like the best at remembering to use them. I know a lot of people, they see like my adoptable designs and they're like, why don't you keep them? Why don't you do something with them? And it's like, I'm more of an artist than a writer. Don't get me wrong, I am a writer too, but you know, like, it's okay to want to do one thing more than the others. I really like designing. Designing is my strength. I like writing too, but it's every character I have, like I'm going to want to write for them. I'm going to want them to have some kind of story. And I have so many OCs that like I can't do it for all of them. So I'd rather only keep the OCs I'm really, really sure that I want to keep.
so I can give them good stories. So I'm not just giving them a random story so I can call it a day so that people won't bug me about it. You know what I mean?
So here is our rabbit. I'd say we managed like the detail part pretty okay. She looks about how I would expect. Alright, let's start coloring. This is the really fun part. I have really good ideas for this part.
And that looks about right. So what we do, we invert the selection, and now we are only coloring inside the lines. Now, I was thinking for colors, we're going to do like white, red, blue-ish, and black. But they're not going to use these colors, because, sorry, this doesn't look great. Like, this is just straight up not really a color I want to use. Most of these are colors I don't want to use. If you've been following me for a bit, you might know this is just kind of part of my style. I don't use pure white unless it's on highlights. This is just something I learned like a while back, but I find it really helps me with colors. I just don't really like using pure values in general. The only pure values I really use, I do technically use pure cyan on like my OC for the eyes and like the belt, but that's because it's a color I only use very sparingly. And I think that's kind of the key with a lot of these colors, is you can use bright colors, but don't push it all the way over here if you're not going to bounce the other colors around it. The paint bucket tool isn't perfect. There will definitely be gaps, but that's just part of digital art, and I think focusing on those like a lot will just be distracting. You don't want to do that. So we are actually going to color these fairly similarly, funnily enough, to the original. I was thinking I would change up the boots and gloves a lot, but now that I look at this character design, I actually kind of like them as is. Shocker. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. You know what? I think we're gonna do like a brown color here. I think that's gonna look really good, actually. Okay, here's the hard part. Red and blue are very strong colors, so this is gonna be a little bit of a balancing act. Ooh, tricky. Let me mess with this a little and see if I can find something I like. I hate to like desaturate the colors so much because it's like, I feel like that's just such a cheese tactic, you know? Like people do that when they don't know what to do with their colors. And like, I'm someone who like does really well with vibrant colors all the time. So I don't know why I'm struggling so bad. I don't want to make them like the opposite color of what they should be for like the suits. Because she does kind of have some like card suit details in this design. I thought that'd be a fun thing to do on purpose, but I'm a little bit, yeah, I think I'm gonna have them be that color. That makes more sense to me. It's not perfect, but I think she's decent. Hey, the goal, at the end of the day, the goal is to make a decent Sonic OC. Not a perfect Sonic OC, a decent one. I think we're making a decent one perfectly fine. Thank you very much. These kind of blend together because I put the wrists right here beside it, but I feel like if she were posed differently, this wouldn't be an issue. So I know this is literally putting two colors beside each other, which is like something I try not to do in my designs. If she were posed differently though, I think this wouldn't be an issue. So I'm gonna leave it. I think this is okay. Bada bing, bada boom. She is almost done, actually. I don't know if I want to bother like doing the colored line art. I do that usually in my style, but this is about making a design more than like making a fully rendered art piece. So I think we're gonna stick with what we have. But I will do the eyes. I love doing my colored line art style on the eyes, so we will be doing that. As you can see, we go around with a darker color, darker color based off the top color I pick. And then for the pupils, I usually pick a really dark version of the main color. Then I go up here, I make it lighter. Sometimes I do this multiple times. And that's literally just how I do my eyes.
And I would say she turned out pretty decent, actually. Is she my favorite design ever? No, but I was working with specific limitations, and you know what? I think if you are trying to make a Sonic OC in 2026 using this extremely old, as old as me, so maybe I shouldn't be saying extremely old, OC maker, I think you can still do it in 2026. Is it the exact same as this? No, but this was a good, like, basis. I think you can still use this OC creator to get inspiration, and that's what matters. I actually really like her. Here we go. So that's how she came out. And I'll probably draw her one more time for the thumbnail. But that's the design. So I guess this is where it ends off. Yes, you can use this OC creator, this extremely old OC creator, in 2026 to make a Sonic OC. As a modern Sonic OC artist, I have pulled it off, and so can you. Well, with that said, I know this was my first long-form video in a while, and hopefully I can deliver more soon. I've been kind of dry on like motivation and ideas. I had some stuff happen a couple months back, so I haven't been doing as much long-form content, but I would love to get back to it soon. So, as always, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.